Hey guys, welcome back to the Restorantine series where I interview members, community leaders, and other friends of Restore to find out what their experience has been like during this COVID quarantine. Now today, I have a conversation with my friend KC Vande Streek. KC is the pastor of Faith Community Church, and like many of us who are in ministry, we've had to face some unique challenges during this time. And Faith Community is a partner church of ours, and so I wanted to find out what are some of the challenges that they're facing as a church. What are some ways that KC has been leveraging technology? You may have seen some of the videos that he's put together for people in his church on Facebook. And I wanted to talk to him a little bit more about that, find out how they're doing, and find out how we can pray for both KC and for Faith Community. So here's that interview. All right, so the interview is officially starting right now.
Cool.
Okay.
Let's go.
I don't know, what are we? We're 10 minutes in, 15 minutes in. All right, so I'm not gonna like officially be like, hey, what's up? But
morning, Jeremy. Good to see you. Man.
What's up, man? How's it? Tell me, how's life in the Vande Streek house right now?
Yeah, it's I think like a lot of people, overall really good, right? The adjustment is difficult, I think, for everybody. My wife works from home. She had started about 10 months ago an interior design business on her own with her partner. She had left her interior design firm from Grand Rapids that she had been working for remotely, and has some background in art and architecture. And so this is what she wanted to do and she loved doing. And that's been going great. Well, now it's scrambling to get projects done because we don't know, like anyone else, what's going to happen in a week. Is everything going to be shut down? Is there still stuff going on? And trying to navigate that with, again, like everybody else who's got kids, how do we do remote learning with them? Mm-hmm. And then where do my hours and all that sort of stuff? So just the adjustment is difficult, but morale overall at our house is really good.
That's good.
Yeah. Outside a lot with the boys, having a lot of fun, a lot of time together. That's good. And so like everybody else, we're making the best of it. And it's been good.
Yeah. We're kind of in the same boat. It's like you're balancing everything out, and, you have to find those moments during the day where you're like, okay, well, when it's sunny, like yesterday was great. On Monday when it was rainy, it was like,
that's rough, dude. Everybody go play in your own room for a while. Right?
Yeah.
You can do that. You might not even be able to do that depending on how many kids you have at home.
Oh, I mean, well, they want to hang out in like the common area. And I'm like, no, daddy needs space. Like, you got to go somewhere else. Go back on your iPad. They're like, I've been on the iPad all day. I'm like,
when I was your age, we didn't have iPads.
We all got to live, kids. So you guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about your church too, and some of what you guys are doing, because I've seen you on Facebook doing different communications, videos, stuff like that. When did you guys decide to close services, and do you do anything in place of that, or what does that look like?
Yeah, so I think, like you guys, our first Sunday that we just went to streaming online was March 15, I think, right? And it's crazy. Thursday morning, after lengthy conversations the day before with council, I put out a presser to all of our folks and said, we're still planning on having service. By Friday morning, we'd canceled, right? Yeah. Like everything was moving quick. And so we stream online, and we've actually had that capability for about a year and have been doing it. And so I'm really grateful to the folks at our church that had already set that up. Mm-hmm. And then in addition to that, and so we stream it, you click on our homepage of our church and it sends you to our YouTube page, and that goes. And then following that, what I did sort of just spontaneously on the 15th, and then planned on it and told more people about it on the 22nd, last Sunday, is on my personal Facebook page. I go live and we have an impromptu coffee time. And so people are texting back and forth about what's going on in their lives and how are you doing? And I've been trying to call through with our church directory over the
Mm-hmm.
course of about 3 weeks. So some of the goofy stories and funny things and whatever, I share that during that time just so there's some sort of socializing that's going on. And then like we're doing now, we're going to try to do our first prayer gathering via Zoom Thursday evening. So,
Oh, nice.
like a lot of people like you, like, hey, it's a time to be creative. We're trying stuff. It might all work, not all work, but we got to kind of do it. So like, this thing is super cool. We talked a little bit about this before, we
Mm-hmm.
started recording, like just that we're trying stuff like this and that you guys are doing this is just really cool.
Yeah,
So
that was the conversation we had at staff meeting recently was just, well, we did a Zoom, meeting, of course, and it was just like, hey, we're just trying a bunch of different stuff, see what sticks, because it's new territory. What do you do on your when you broadcast your service? Do you preach live? Do you have any worship in your live stream? How are you making that work?
So the first week we didn't have anything, and it was just liturgy with me. Except that we have this tradition at Faith Community Church when one of our members passes away, that following the blessing for the doxology, we sing the first verse of By the Sea of Crystal,
Mm-hmm.
which is this old hymn that has imagery of heaven, right?
Yeah.
So we didn't have any music except that I sang By the Sea of Crystal to end that service because we had
Mm-hmm.
had someone who had died a couple days earlier. This past Sunday, we did have guitar and vocalist, and that was it. And I preached to an empty sanctuary. There's something I think about doing. I don't know how you feel. Like I record devotional videos that I post. That's no big deal.
Yeah.
But there's something about preaching it live that even if you flubbed something or whatever,
Yeah.
it's happening live, right? I mean, are you guys live? I'm going to feel really bad if you record now.
No. Actually, we kind of had the same attitude about it. Was that I felt like, hey, if I'm asking our church to gather live at the same time slot that we always gather every single Sunday, then I want them to know that I'm there live preaching as well. Like we're still gathering. I'm preaching live from a different location, and that's been our conviction for the first 2 weeks. We did pre-record worship just because we're still trying to limit, contact as much as we can. So even
Sure.
when we're doing a
Smart.
live sermon,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
only a couple of us in the building.
Yeah.
And how strongly do I feel about that conviction? I mean, it could change, but I just felt
Sure.
like for as long as we can keep things feeling normal, hey, this is the same sanctuary we're familiar with. It's the same backdrop. I'm preaching. This is what we do at our normal gatherings. And so that's why we've done it that way so far.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to riff too far on this. We're both sports guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I listen to sports podcasts. And one of the things that's really interesting is kind of across the board for television, like TV shows, whatever, the ratings are way down and a lot of stuff because people get it on demand.
Mm-hmm.
But ratings for sports, live sports, are always really high. And all of the TV brands and companies there, the the bidding on live sports goes through the roof because there's something about it happening together that's embedded in our culture that we're all watching the same thing. I
Yeah.
don't know how that ties in, but I think there's something there that fits with a live sermon as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. It definitely feels that way. And I don't know, yeah, I mean, that's just kind of the sense that we get. Whether or not that's how true that is or not, I don't know, but that's
Right.
been where we fall. So what are some of the
Like
other
everybody's got to do
challenges
what they
you
can do,
guys have
right?
faced?
Like not everybody can live stream.
What was that?
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I was
No,
like,
I was
look,
gonna
and
say, what are
I
some of
don't
the
mean
other
that to be.
challenges? We're really blowing it right now.
Would be the first time.
That's true. Whatever. I was just gonna say, what are some of the other challenges that you've been experiencing as a church, other than just your Sunday morning, not having
Yeah.
that, not having any other programs, I'd guess.
So like everybody else, like we're just in this adjustment period. We're trying to figure stuff out. Like I'd love to talk to you afterwards about, how do you guys do children's ministry online? Because that's something we haven't made the shift to yet. We just haven't had Sunday school. And I don't want that to fall off, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there's stuff like that everyone's figuring out. But I think for us at Faith Community Church, that's unique, or not unique, but what we're facing is we've got 4 people that live in the healthcare center, and they need help there. We've got 4 people that live independently. Hey, puppy.
Yeah. She's like,
We
I'm
got
sick of the floor.
comfy chair. We've got 4 folks that live in apartments at the healthcare center. We've got about 6 people that live in the Holland home, and then we have, I want to say, 4 or 5 people that either they're elderly couples that live in their own house or apartment that isn't connected to the healthcare center or something else, or single folks that are in that spot. So we're looking at like 15 to 20 elderly folks, and nobody's supposed to go see them,
Mm.
and that's rough.
Yeah, I
So
saw a
I'm just gonna
communication
call through our
from
church directory.
yeah, I
Yeah,
saw a communication from your church early on, and or maybe not. I mean, if, again, early on in terms of how these things played out, I think it was really like March 12th or 13th. It may have been that initial letter that you were talking about, where I had seen that you said no more visitations. Um, and that is definitely a different sort of challenge.
yeah, and for the most part, it's been received fairly well. It just hurts,
Yeah,
right? It's just painful. Um, and some of those folks can see each other if they live like, and they're social distancing, right? So if we've got these 3 or 4 ladies that live in an apartment at the healthcare center in their own building, and they're all social distancing, they might be able to gather together and all watch the live stream on Sunday morning or do other things
yeah,
like that, right? That's great. But we've got some folks that they're in their own house, right? And they're 80 something,
yeah,
and they're not able to come to ladies Bible study and church and coffee hour and then go volunteer, at the healthcare center or whatever they do. And
yeah.
that's just hard. Like, I'm telling my elders and deacons to call, and they're doing that. But I think that's just hard. I'm just trying to figure that out.
Yeah, especially as this thing goes on, lasts longer. Yeah, just that those are going to be the tough ones, the people that need to be seen but really can't be seen. What do you do?
Right.
And may not have the technology to be able to communicate with you like this.
Right. And that's the thing, right? Like, okay, can we get Sunday school up and online and running? Sure, we can do that. There's lots of churches that are like, hey, we'll offer our resources. We'll help you get your worship service set up. We'll help you get your, right? What do you do for, she's 83 and she's with it mentally and physically, she's really healthy, but now she doesn't have Zoom and she can't get out of her house.
Yeah.
Like, there's no easy fix for that other than we're trying to phone call every couple days,
Right,
and
right, right. Yeah. Which is, it's good and it's nice, but how important that face to face, even video to video face to face is for a lot of people.
yeah,
Well, that's definitely an area that we'll be praying for you guys, because that is not, I mean, we have, you know, different people in situations where, they live alone or whatever, but they're younger people. It's not necessarily the same level of risk. So they can have interactions. Hopefully they have a very limited group of people they interact with, but it's not a high danger zone. So that's
yeah.
definitely something you're experiencing different than what we are. What do you think? This is sort of a question I've been thinking through a little bit. What do you think there's any long-term positives that are going to come from this in terms of how we do ministry or how you do ministry?
I'm sure there are. I hate to project on something like this because everything changes so fast,
Yeah.
I think I'd been saying to you, like, I started doing these 4 to 5 minute devotional videos that I'd record myself and put on Facebook. And my goal was to do at least one a week for like 10 weeks. And on week like 9, this thing hit, right? We were in the middle of doing a church upgrades project where we were going to do different lighting to better record the services and then try to edit and splice them and put them on the internet. All of that to come around to say, like, I think this internet thing is here to stay.
Yeah.
Um, so the church really needs to be in this space, and I think that you guys as a church plant, and I've tried to take ideas that you've already implemented and adjust them to an older congregation that needs renewal. But I think you've already caught on to it. No, first impression of your actual church and congregation is
Mm-hmm.
not when they walk through the building or walk into the building,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like we're talking about upgrading our narthex area, making it brighter and new lighting and new paint and signage. And that's all fine and good.
Mm-hmm.
But we all know they've already clicked on 3 or 4 different things revolving around your church before they decided whether or not they're going to show up on Sunday.
Yeah.
You get that. Lots of church plants get that. The rest of the church in North America, if they didn't already know that, is on it now.
Yeah.
Streaming online your services is not optional anymore. If you
Yeah.
want to have any sort of church at all, you have to do it. If you don't, when are your people gathering?
Yeah.
We're the body. We need to go out and do. I think that's going to be something that's a positive impact. And
Yeah.
there's still something about we're together, and the rhythm of our life is that we worship together on Sunday morning, whatever that looks like. And so I think the folks who get that and understand that, that's going to have a huge impact, I think, in the church going forward.
Yeah, that's it's definitely something I think that came to bear a little bit faster than obviously most people anticipated. I think that, like you said, I think some of us have known just because it comes naturally to us that we need to be connected. We need to be online. We should be streaming our services, all of that type of stuff. Online giving, is another one. We've had that since we started basically.
Yeah.
And you can resist those things, not because I think people thought, oh, the internet's going away. I know we just sort of joke about that, but
Right.
I just think that you couldn't anticipate a scenario where those things weren't optional. They were necessities for the life of your church to maintain the life of your church.
Yeah. I think for us, it went from, this is kind of a weird kooky option that you can give online, or that you could stream the service on. I mean, it's a nice thing. If you're traveling and you want to tune in, you can do it. It went from being this nice kind of kooky out there option to like, you have to have this if you want to survive.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? I think a lot of churches are in the middle of that sort of shift.
Yeah. I wish I could claim, that it was somehow, prophetic of us to have that stuff in place, so we're not scrambling, but it's not. It was more just, being in a place where we would just do that naturally anyway.
Right.
But so what are some of the ways, I don't want to take too much more of your time, but what are some of the other ways we can pray for you or pray for your church, as we come together as different church communities and just kind of support one another?
Yeah, I think it's, as you said a little bit earlier, we're doing our best to make sure that we're connecting with those folks who are kind of on the outskirts of the technology wave of things, right? That's a big one. How can we be creative and diligent in praying for and connecting to those people and making sure that they feel as much a part of it as possible, and checking in on them? And then I think, probably similar to a lot of churches, maybe even like you guys, we're trying to figure out how is it that you live out the gospel message now to our communities and neighborhoods that are all going through this thing at the same time. There's this heightened level of anxiety. There's grief, not necessarily about someone that has it or who's passed away, but all of these things being shut down. I mean, it's a really good time to know the creator of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
How do we convey that well as the hands and feet of Christ when we're supposed to be settling in place?
Mm-hmm.
So I think just sort of prayers for that, and I think that's probably general for everybody, but that would be something I would appreciate prayers for, and we as a church would appreciate prayers for.
Yeah, I think that's first of all, I'll be praying for that, and I hope people watching this will pray for that as well. But I do think that you are hitting the nail right on the head in terms of what the challenge is and the joy for the church right now. Again, the joy is, hey, we have a foundation for hope. The challenge is, how do we communicate that to our friends and neighbors when we don't get to see them? We don't have a local church gathering to invite them to. And thankfully, because of technology, we always try to encourage people, hey, share videos like this, share messages from KC. This is an easy way on Facebook and other social media just to say, hey, look at what my pastor says, because in as much as our people, I think, are looking for that direction and they're looking for some hope and they're looking for words of encouragement, how much more so might those people who don't necessarily have the same foundation of hope that we do.
Yeah. And that's a really cool thing. You know, I've had distant relatives of mine that live in North Dakota now, and I haven't talked to in 10 years, right? They're finding these devotional videos that I do because we're friends on Facebook, right? I have friends from church who have some of their people at work who are like super anxious right now, and I done one on the God who still calms storms, and they're like sharing that with people, right? It's the message of the goodness of our God and the foundational joy that we have in the midst of all these things. So, you know, people sharing stuff like that, it gets the word out. That's the really important thing, is I think to be continually communicating the gospel and to be encouraging in the midst of these situations. And so stuff like this, again, like, thanks for the invite. This is just really cool. It's inspiring to think about, wait a second, they're doing a podcast Zoom type thing. That's super cool. How can we communicate those sorts of things? And then it spirals off into other cool ideas about how we might be able to, again, communicate the gospel, encourage one another. It's just a lot of fun. It's good stuff to be involved in the middle of all this. So,
well, I appreciate you taking some time, because I know you're trying to figure things out, and thanks for the kind words on this. Hopefully it's something that's encouraging to our people, your people, as they watch it, and just to see the church coming together. And that's the goal during this time. So cool.
Good stuff. Well,
hey, thanks, man.
We appreciate you. Yeah, we appreciate Restore. We're grateful for the brotherhood that we have between our churches, and I'm grateful for you as a pastor, a colleague, and also as a friend. So thanks very much for this, Jeremy.
Appreciate it, man. Same. And hope you have a good day. And I'll talk to you soon. Stay sane.
You too, buddy.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye. Well, guys, that was it. I hope you enjoyed that conversation. There will be more to come like it. If you have somebody that you'd like to hear from, or you'd like me to interview, or you'd like to be interviewed yourself, let me know and we'll set that up. In the meantime, feel free to share this video, like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.